Good afternoon. I'm Heather Westerfield, Chair of the Commission on School Accreditation. The special called meeting of the Commission on School Accreditation is being held today, Monday, December 16th, 2019, at 1 p.m. in the fourth floor boardroom, Central High School Building, 359 Northwest Street, Jackson, Mississippi. An audio recording is being made of this meeting, and minutes of this meeting will be recorded. As I call the name of the commission members, please state the location of your presence for this meeting. Kelly Barfield. Sean Brewer.
Present, fourth floor, boardroom, MDE.
Sarah Foster.
Present, fourth floor boardroom.
Roy Gill.
Present, Gulfport, Mississippi, Harrison County School District.
Brian Harvey.
Present, Oxford School District.
Jefferson Hughes.
Present, fourth floor board.
Michael Lindsay.
Present, fourth floor boardroom.
Dr. Valencia Martin.
En route to Jackson from Greenwood, Mississippi.
John Mistles.
Present, 4-4.
Anthony Montgomery.
Present, Harrison County Superintendent's Administration Building, Gulfport, Mississippi.
Eddie Prather.
Present, fourth floor, boardroom, Jackson, Mississippi.
Brad Stevens. Ingrid Williams. And Heather Westerfield, fourth floor boardroom. A quorum of the commission is present for the purpose of conducting this meeting. This meeting is called to order at 1:03 p.m. At this time, I'll ask if Mr. Prather would lead us in the invocation.
We would bow our heads. Our dear Heavenly Father, Lord, we gather here today, Lord. We want to say thank you, Lord, for blessing us to be able to travel safe to this destination. Now, Heavenly Father, we just pray that as we deliberate over these issues, Lord, that you guide us with your wisdom and understanding that we make good decisions for the children of these schools in Mississippi that we're working with. Dear Heavenly Father, we just pray you watch over us in this time of weather like it is, Lord. Bless us and keep us in your care. Be with those that's traveling, Lord. Grant them safe travel. Dear Heavenly Father, we forever give you the praise and glory for all of your blessings. In your Son, Jesus' name, I pray. Amen.
Mr. Prather. All right, item 2, commission members, you have received a copy of the agenda. At this time, I'll entertain a motion for approval of the agenda. Please identify yourself for the record.
So moved, Sarah Foster.
A motion by Ms. Foster,
Second, Sean Brewer.
second by Mr. Brewer. Is there any discussion? Okay, commission members, for voting today, I will take votes from those present. And then for those on the phone, to make sure we have an accurate representation of your vote, I will do a roll call for those on the phone. So members present, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Members on the phone, so Roy Gill,
Aye.
Brian Harvey,
Aye.
Dr. Valencia Martin, Anthony Montgomery.
Aye.
Okay, the motion carries. All right,
Heather Kelly Barfield joined the call.
great. Ms. Barfield, would you please state your address, please?
Yes, Kelly Barfield, President in Vicksburg, Mississippi.
Thank you so much. We just got to item 3, just approve the agenda. All right, item 3, report to the existence of an extreme emergency situation regarding the safety, security, and educational interest of the children enrolled in the Wayne County School District. Commission members and guests, please note for this portion of our meeting, we will follow the process in the State Board of Education approved accreditation audit procedures. To begin, we will allow the Office of Accreditation to present for 40 minutes. After they have finished, the district will be allowed to present for 40 minutes. Commission members, we ask please do not interrupt the Office of Accreditation or the district during their allotted 40 minutes. Following the district's time presentation, the commission will be allowed to ask questions of either party. After questions, the commission will entertain closing argument for the legal representative for the district. Then the commission will entertain closing argument from the legal representative for the Office of Accreditation. Each attorney will be allotted 10 minutes. All right, before we begin, and as we have the Office of Accreditation getting set up, did somebody else join us on the phone?
I did. This is Brad Stevens in Monroe County. I apologize for the late entry.
No problem, Mr. Stevens. We are just getting started. All right, MDE, when you're ready, and if you would just introduce yourselves as you get started. Okay, Billy, we're ready? We're ready. Thank you, sir.
Good afternoon, Commission. I'm Joanne Malone, Director of Accreditation here at the MDE. And I'll be presenting, beginning our presentation from the MDE. Dr. Carrie Wright, State Superintendent, directed the MDE to conduct an investigative audit in concordance with Accreditation Policy 5.0 of the Mississippi Public School Accountability Standards 2019. This audit began on August the 29th, 2019, and concluded on December the 10th, 2019. The demographics for Wayne County School District are projected on your slide. All findings described in this report are based on the analysis of data collected during the on-site evaluation, including but not limited to interviews conducted with district staff, observations, and completed evaluation forms, analysis of official documentation on file in the district, and analysis of official reports submitted to the MDE. As we present to you some of the violations noted in the report, please be mindful that the rationale projected on your screen for consideration of a state of emergency is based on the following: serious violations of federal and state laws and accreditation standards, serious concerns regarding financial resources, and inappropriate standards of governance. In the fall of each school year, the Commission determines the annual accreditation status of all public school districts based on verified accreditation data from the previous school year regarding compliance with process standards. Every fall since the 2014-15 school year, the Wayne County School District has been assigned an accreditation status of probation based on their noncompliance. In February 2016, the MDE conducted an unannounced accreditation audit in the district as part of an ongoing legislative audit. The MDE found the district noncompliant with 10 of the 25 process standards audited at that time. As a reminder, the limited legislative audits do not include the process standards related to financial accountability or federal regulations. On September the 18th of 2018, the Commission assigned the district an accreditation status of probation in accordance with Appendix H of the Mississippi Public School Accountability Standards for 4 consecutive violations of Process Standard 4 Annual Financial Audit, which requires the local school board to obtain an annual financial audit of the school district as conducted under the guidelines of the Office of the State Auditor no later than 9 months after the end of the district's fiscal year. The district failed to submit financial audit reports for fiscal years 2014, 2015, 2016, and 2017 by the March 31st, 2015, 16, 17, and 18 deadlines. 2014 should have been included on the audit report. On December the 5th, 2019, the Commission assigned the district an accreditation status of probation again in accordance with Appendix H of the Mississippi Public School Accountability Standards for 5 consecutive years of violations of Process Standard 4 because the district failed to submit financial audit report for the 2018 fiscal year by the March 31st, 2019 deadline. And as of today, the district has still not submitted the financial audit reports for fiscal year 2018 to the Office of the State Auditor. On December the 10th, 2019, the MDE provided the district with the on-site investigative audit report. The report included notice and the purpose of today's meeting. In accordance with Mississippi Code 3717-6, Section 12B, projected on your screen, this report is being made to the Commission based on the findings outlined in the on-site investigative audit report for the district. The commission must determine if an extreme emergency exists in the district that jeopardizes the safety, security, or educational interests of the children enrolled in that district, and that such emergency situation is believed to be related to serious violations of federal and state law and accreditation standards, serious concerns regarding financial resources, and inappropriate standards of governance. The report provides that the district is non-compliant with Accreditation Policy 2.1 and 22 of the 32 process standards the MDE evaluated, as well as multiple state and federal laws. Accreditation Policy 2.5 outlines the 8 areas for an immediate downgrade to probation or withdrawn, which are considered the most serious violations of accreditation standards. The Wayne County Public School District is in violation of 7 of the 8 areas under Accreditation Policy 2.5.2 projected on your screen. Reporting false information, failure to implement appropriate standards of governance, failure to comply with school board policies that meet state and federal statutes, rules, and regulations, failure to comply with financial accountability results of a serious nature, failure to comply with graduation requirements, failure to comply with federal programs, failure to comply with standards that pose life-threatening conditions for students and staff. Additionally, based on the communications with the district, the most recent report from the Office of the State Auditor, there are serious concerns related to financial resources and failure to comply with financial accountability requirements. Dr. Felicia Gavin, Chief Operations Officer, will present those findings and concerns later in this presentation. It is the MDE's opinion that these serious violations jeopardize the safety, security, and educational interests of the students enrolled in the district. The district is non-compliant with 22 of 32 process standards. Each of the 22 non-compliant process standards have an impact on the educational interests of the students enrolled in the district. This presentation, however, will focus on the violations believed to have the greatest impact on the safety, security, and educational interests of the children enrolled in the district. I want to emphasize that the 7 areas previously highlighted under Accreditation Policy 2.5 are the areas that have the greatest impact on student achievement. As the educational leader of the district, the superintendent failed to ensure the implementation of an instructional management plan that clearly defines the academic goals necessary for improving student achievement. This is a direct violation of state law, which states the superintendent, principals, and teachers are required to enforce the course of study prescribed by the State Board of Education. The district provided a current instructional management system for the 2019-2020 school year that had been approved by the local board. However, on-site monitoring in the schools revealed that classroom teachers failed to implement tiered instruction, best instructional practice, and current and differentiated individualized lesson plans. Findings in the area of kindergarten and early childhood include, but are not limited to, failure to document teacher and assistant teacher education qualification requirements and professional development, failure to integrate the Mississippi Early Learning Standards, failure to develop lesson plans that consistently and adequately address the current instructional standards required by the MDE, failure to plan evaluations of children's progress using MDE standards for social and emotional development, failure to produce immunization forms, failure to provide the minimum minutes required for quiet time and physical activity, failure to provide parents with a 2019-2020 handbook, failure to ensure the school environment for pre-kindergarten and kindergarten students is safe and secure, and failure to provide expenditures for materials and supplies. The overall collection of each library failed to represent a well-balanced, broad range of current learning media, including books in print, up-to-date instructional technology, periodicals, teacher resources, and equipment. Findings include, but are not limited to, failure to offer completely automated library collections or to train teachers and students on how to use the automated library system, failure to provide a quality reference collection that supports the current instructional plan, and the average copyright age of the collection does not meet the minimum age requirement of 10 years. The district failed to ensure that all graduating seniors of 2018-2019 met the minimum requirements for graduation in accordance with Process Standard 14. The MDE reviewed records for 194 of the 196 students listed on the high school's commencement program. The district failed to provide documentation to verify all graduating seniors earned the minimum number of Carnegie units and earned a passing score on all 4 required end-of-course assessments or met one of the options in lieu of a passing score. The district allowed 30 students to participate in graduation exercises without documentation to support that they had met the minimum graduation requirements. 23 of the 30 students did not earn the minimum number of Carnegie units required for graduation, and 8 students did not pass all 4 required end-of-course assessments. Additionally, the district failed to publish current and consistent information in board policy and student handbooks regarding graduation requirements. The MDE reviewed a sample of permanent records and cumulative folders for individual students for school year 2018-19. The district's records failed to contain all required data as mandated by state law. The district failed to comply with federal and/or state requirements for the operation of its career and technical programs. The district failed to provide documentation of maintaining advisory committees and failed to provide students the opportunity to participate in career and student technical organization. Additional findings include, but are not limited to, the following: failure to provide documentation supporting the opportunity for CTE students to meet the same challenging academic proficiencies that are taught to all other students, failure to provide documentation of how the district collects needs assessment data and other data to determine the need and/or development of new or conversion programs, failure to provide documentation of professional development provided based on a comprehensive needs assessment, failure to provide documentation indicating that each CTE instructor had an opportunity to review assessment data prior to identifying the program of improvement, corrective action, or restriction, failure to provide documentation of how loss, damage, and theft of property are documented in police reports and investigative reports, failure to remove all surplus equipment from program inventory, failure to provide documentation that teachers attended and participated in IEP meetings, failure to provide documentation of student individual success plans, failure to provide documentation of fiscal and programmatic records, failure to provide documentation of how the district disperses funds, and failure to provide documentation of accurate, current, and complete financial records that are maintained in accordance with the MDE financial reporting requirements. The Office of Special Education conducted a cyclical monitoring visit on April the 13th, 2018. However, at the time of this current audit, over a year later, the district had failed to resolve the deficiencies noted in the April 2018 monitoring visit. Child find is the federally mandated process of identifying, locating, and evaluating children who have a disability. The audit established the district does not have an effective child find process in place. The district failed to follow proper procedures for receiving and documenting verbal and written requests for comprehensive evaluations, or to ensure appropriate members of the multidisciplinary evaluation team are present at the meeting to consider evaluation data to make an eligibility ruling, or to ensure that the initial evaluation of students are conducted within 60 days of receiving parental consent, or ensure that the reevaluation is conducted at least once within 3 years, and to notify parents of any evaluation procedures that the district proposed to conduct. As a result of the district's failure to implement federal and state mandates, students have been denied appropriate services in a timely manner and resulted in the denial of a student with a disability's right to a free, appropriate public education. A review of special education records, district documents, classroom observations, and interviews with district personnel indicate the district failed to review, revise, and amend the IEP in a meeting in accordance with the provisions of federal regulations, or to include statements of how the student's disability affects their involvement and progress in the general education curriculum, or to state annual goals in measurable terms, to include annual goals that address functional areas of need, to address special considerations for the child, and to list the location for and the duration and/or frequency of specially designed instruction, as well as related services that address the needs of students and support annual goals. The Office of Special Education conducted an inventory of equipment purchased with IDEA and preschool funds and noted that the district had inaccuracies in their inventory. The Office of Special Education reviewed timesheets, semi-annual certifications, and personnel activity reports. A review of the district's time and effort documentation for fiscal year 18 and 19 revealed the district never completed any personnel activity reports, and semi-annual certifications were never signed by 14 employees for 2 pay periods. All semi-annual certifications were signed and dated by the immediate supervisor and the special education director prior to the employees signing contracts. The Office of Special Education's review of purchase orders also revealed the district used Medicaid funds to pay for staff and faculty luncheons, rewards, and engraving. The MDE's Office of Grants Management conducted a district-level review of the district's fiscal policies and procedures and the district's implementation of IDEA fiscal requirements. According to the FY19 Statement of Expenditure Reports, the district failed to properly enter the district's FY19 federal IDEA Part B and preschool allocations accurately. Therefore, the Part B and preschool budgets were over budgeted by over $62,000. The district failed to align the FY19 federal IDEA Part B and preschool expenditures with the approved application in MCAPS. Funds in the amounts of over $198,000 were expended in excess of the approved budget. The district failed in several functional and object areas to align the FY19 federal IDEA Part B expenditures with the approved applications in MCAPS. Funds in the amount of over $179,000 were expended in excess of the approved budget. A review of the district's purchasing documentation revealed question cost in the amount of over $10,000. Examples include, but are not limited to, unallowable charges to the federal IDEA Part B program, equipment purchases that were not included in the approved federal IDEA Part B budget, items purchased for the SPED director from instructional funds that should have been from administrative funds, travel vouchers and expenditures for the SPED director were submitted and verified by the director and were not signed or approved by the superintendent, and equipment was purchased using 100% IDEA Part B funds, but is deemed question cost because the equipment is in the federal programs office and is being used by all federal programs. The district property manager stated that the district completes the annual inventory as required by state law. The MDE requested documentation supporting the FY19 inventory, but adequate documentation was not provided indicating completion. The district's business manager indicated that the previous business manager failed to accurately request funds and record revenue timely. Additionally, the business manager failed to reconcile monthly bank statements. Summary trial balance reports provided for periods 1 through 12 of fiscal year 19 included only 3 reimbursement requests that could be matched to MCAPS reports. A test of cash could not be properly completed. To summarize, due to the lack of budgetary controls and oversight, the district made financial errors in the sum of over $450,000. The district improperly borrowed and held USDA child nutrition funds for non-program expenses. Specifically, loans from the nonprofit food service account failed to comply with federal guidance for MDE Office of Child Nutrition Policy. Due to and due from ledgers indicating loans to and from the nonprofit food service account had not been reconciled for the current or previous school year and indicated substantial balances. Child nutrition reimbursements were not timely or completely transferred to the correct account. The nonprofit food service account cash balance was in the negative, and child nutrition expenses were routinely being paid from the district's maintenance funds. The MDE monitored the district's Elementary and Secondary Education Act programs as amended by the Every Student Succeeds Act. The total amount in question cost was over $4,000. Findings included, but are not limited to, the following. The district failed to provide a written board policy and/or procedure to periodically review its accounts to ensure that all transactions, including refunds and recoded transactions, have been accurately and properly recorded. Documents viewed on site do not support the proper alignment between the district's budget and accounting records and the approved MCAPS budget. The district failed to provide a written board policy and/or procedure for proper disposal of equipment that addresses the disposal of equipment with a fair market value of over $5,000. A review of source documentation revealed a purchase order in the amount of over $4,000 to Curriculum Associates LLC was paid from Parent and Family Engagement, which is not allowable. The district is non-compliant with state board policies and federal and state laws that require districts to provide safe and orderly schools. The district failed to provide documentation of all required emergency evacuation drills for all schools for the 2018-19 school year. The district failed to provide labeled and accurate primary or secondary family reunification points for primary or alternate evacuation areas in the site-specific school safety plans for all schools. The law enforcement personnel within the district failed to qualify with their weapons biannually as required by the MDE School Safety Manual. The district failed to provide documentation of an MOU with local law enforcement agencies regarding law enforcement within the district. The MDE inspected 59 of the district's 62 buses and noted multiple defects on 39 of the 59 inspected buses. The district failed to produce documentation of quarterly bus inspections. The district failed to provide clean and sanitary facilities in a safe and secure environment. Examples of findings related to school facilities include, but are not limited to, unsecured exterior electrical AC panels, second means of egress windows in classrooms do not meet life safety codes, missing panic hardware from exit doors, inoperable lighted exit signs, fire extinguishers that were either expired or not portable, no emergency lighting in halls and other areas of the building, Playgrounds failed to meet Consumer Product Safety Commission guidelines. Unprotected lights in classrooms and school common areas and halls. Unprotected electrical outlets in classrooms and school common areas or halls. And the fire alarm systems are inoperable and display malfunction codes. State law outlines the management responsibilities of the school district superintendent as required by state law and approved local school board policies, which include implementing plans, procedures, programs, and systems to achieve clearly defined desired results. The superintendent failed to provide effective educational leadership in key areas, including the oversight of management of fiscal and day-to-day operations and the effective development and implementation of school board policies. The superintendent and board failed to implement policies that clearly define and ensure that the necessary plans, procedures, programs, and systems are in place to serve all students. The superintendent and board made decisions in violation of state and federal statutes of the State Board of Education's policies and process standards. Discrepancies, irregularities, and inconsistencies exist between board policies and other district documents, such as the student handbooks. Some policies and procedures published in the student handbooks are inconsistent with current state statutes, State Board of Education policies, and/or district policies, including policies pertaining to attendance and graduation requirements. The school board failed to effectively perform its duty in its role of oversight of management for the district as prescribed by law. The school district failed to ensure that it provided proper governance and leadership to the district. In summary, the superintendent and board have failed to implement the appropriate standards of governance. Examples include, but are not limited to, the following: failure to ensure that all data reporting to the MDE are true and accurate as verified by supporting documentation on file in the district, failure to implement appropriate standards of governance, failure to ensure that the school district operates according to school board policies and procedures that comply with state and federal statutes and state board policies and process standards, failure to comply with financial accountability standards, failure to ensure that graduating seniors met graduation requirements, failure to comply with regulations for CTE programs, failure to ensure compliance with IDEA, failure to comply with regulations for the operation of child nutrition programs, failure to ensure compliance with ESSA, failure to implement an instructional management plan that clearly defines the academic goals necessary for improving student achievement, and failure to ensure that school facilities are maintained according to standards required for clean, safe, and orderly schools. A comparison of the 2018-19 MSIS Personnel Accreditation Data Report with employee contracts and salary schedules revealed a litany of errors, omissions, and inconsistencies among MSIS reports, salary schedules, master schedules, list of staff, and contracts. Deficiencies noted include, but are not limited to, salaries reported in employee contracts differ with the salaries reported in the MSIS Personnel Accreditation Data Report for 18-19. Salaries reported for employees in the MSIS Personnel Accreditation Data Report and in employee contracts could not be matched to the district pay scales. The number of days employed in the contracts for some employees did not match the number of days employed reported on the 18-19 MSIS Personnel Accreditation Data Report. At this time, I will ask Dr. Gavin to provide an overview of the serious concerns regarding financial resources.
Good afternoon. On June 18, 2019, I received a call from Patrick Busby, who was the business manager for the district. He stated that the district was delinquent in 16 section loan payments and that the district would be receiving an unfavorable audit report. I asked him if the superintendent was aware of the situation, and he stated that he was informed. He also stated that he was concerned about his employment status with the district. He thought that he would be blamed for the poor financial condition of the district. On August the 20th, 2019, the MDE's Office of School Financial Services visited the district to review the district's financial records. At the conclusion of the review, the MDE noted several violations. 1, delinquent audit reports. The last audit report issued for the district was FY 2016, in which the Office of the State Auditor issued a qualified opinion. The FY 2017 audit was incomplete, but was being finalized by the external audit firm. There were coding issues. Per a review of the payroll registers for May and June of 2019, payroll fluctuated by $23,000 for Title I. The business manager stated that for July 2018 through May of 2019, they had federal employees coded to a state and local fund. During the month of June 2019, these employees were identified and funding sources were corrected. He stated that he would go back to July of 2018 through May of 19 and make journal entries for correction. This is a coding and funding issue, and the federal request for funds will need to be adjusted to reflect these changes. As a result of these coding issues, the district had been incorrectly paying expenses that should not have been paid with state or local funds. Bank reconciliations. The district could not provide any reconciled bank statements. MDE staff verified with McKinsey CPA PLLC that the last month reconciled was June of 2017, which was over 2 years ago. The fund cash balance, the district could not verify their cash balance nor their fund balance as of June the 30th, 2019. Several deposits were made per the bank statement. However, they were not posted to the financial accounting system for 2019. As a result, the true cash balance was unknown. When comparing the cash balance for June of 2019 to cash balance per the bank statement showed $31,000. The cash balance per the financial accounting system reported a $7.7 million deficit, and the statement of fund balances reports represented $13.2 million deficit. There were federal budgets in the Marathon financial accounting system that were not aligned with the approved federal budgets in MCAPs. Therefore, the district could not determine carryover by year, function, or object. As a result of serious concerns regarding financial resources, Dr. Wright directed the MDE to conduct an on-site investigative audit. Then, on November the 22nd, 2019, State Auditor Shad White, as required by Section 37.918.2 Mississippi Code Annotated 1972, notified the State Board of Education and the State Superintendent that the Office of the State Auditor determined that a serious financial condition exists in Wayne County School District. Based on the audited financial report for the year ending June the 30th, 2017, the district failed to comply with process standards 4, 4.1, 4.2, 4.4, 4.6, and 4.7. Process standard 4, the district failed to submit their annual financial audit report for 5 fiscal years, 2014, 15, 16, 17, and 18, by the March 31st deadlines of each year. Under process standard 4.1, the most recent annual financial audit, 2017, from the Office of the State Auditor found the district failed to have a sound system of internal controls in place to ensure all assets are properly recorded according to the Financial Accounting Manual for Mississippi Public School Districts. Process standard 4.2, the district failed to implement policies and procedures to properly reconcile expenditures with available resources. There was a cash deficit balance of $7.949 on the statement of net position. The general fund had a deficit ending fund balance totaling over $14 million and a cash deficit balance of $7.513. Due to the lack of budgetary controls that resulted in spending more resources than available, the district is financially unstable. Process standard 4, the district received both qualified and adverse opinions on the most recent financial audit. The district failed to make proper entries to record the payment of 16 section principal trust loans. District's management made an entry that made it appear the 16 section loan had been repaid. The district failed to have an effective system of internal controls over interfund loans to ensure transfers and due to and from between funds are reconciled monthly. The district failed to utilize proper procedures to complete the district maintenance, bank reconciliations, and track all discrepancies or unsupported amounts. The district failed to implement the proper controls to reconcile and record accounts receivables, accounts payables, and accrued liabilities at year end. Process standard 4.7, the district failed to maintain a 7% fund balance in the district maintenance fund. According to the state auditor's report, the district is in default on 16 section principal and interest loan payments for multiple years. The last fiscal year, the district fully satisfied the debt obligations was for the 2014 fiscal year. The district defaulted for fiscal years 2015 and 16, and as of November the 21st, 2019, the district defaulted on the 2018 and 19 fiscal years. The auditor also determined that the district had made unlawful transfers of interest earned from the 16 section principal trust fund. According to the auditor report, the district is in violation of Mississippi Code Annotated Section 29.3.113 as it relates to borrowing 16 section principal trust fund states. No school land trust fund may be expended after the annual payment date until the payment is made on such loan. The annual payment can be made from any funds available to the school district except for minimum foundation program funds. It shall be unlawful for the Board of Education to borrow any 16th section school funds in any other manner than prescribed herein. And if any such funds shall be borrowed or invested in any manner, any officer concerned in making such loan and investment or suffering the same to be made in violation of the provisions of this section shall be liable personally and on his official bond for the safety of the funds so loaned. The opinions issued on the 2017 financial statements are as follows. For governmental affairs, governmental activities, a qualified opinion. General fund, adverse opinion. Food service fund, qualified opinion. 16th section principal fund, adverse opinion. Aggregate remaining fund information, qualified opinion. The district is currently financially unstable due to the low amount of working cash available. Allowing expenditures in excess of revenue is fiscally irresponsible and violates law and generally accepted accounting principles. Incurring debt and not repaying it is fiscally irresponsible. The financial situation in the Wayne County School District is worse than that of the Noxubee County School District when the Commission on School Accreditation and the State Board of Education determined that an extreme emergency existed in the Noxubee County School District and the governor declared a state of emergency.
In summary, the Wayne County School District, as I said before, is in violation of 7 of the 8 areas outlined in Accreditation Policy 2.5, which have the greatest impact on student achievement. Reporting false information, failure to implement appropriate standards of governance, failure to comply with school board policies that meet state and federal statutes, rules, and regulations, failure to comply with financial accountability requirements of a serious nature, failure to comply with graduation requirements, failure to comply with federal programs whose regulations call for strong sanctions for continued pattern of noncompliance, and failure to comply with standards that pose life-threatening conditions for students and staff. Based on Mississippi Code 3717-6, 12B, the Commission may determine if an extreme emergency exists in a school district that jeopardizes the safety, security, or educational interests of the children enrolled in the district, and that such emergency situation is believed to be related to serious violations of federal and state law and accreditation standards, serious concerns of financial resources, and inappropriate standards of governance. The MDE is requesting that the Commission consider the information brought to you today and determine that an extreme emergency situation exists in the Wayne County School District that jeopardizes the safety, security, and educational interests of the children enrolled in the schools in the district, and that an emergency situation is believed to be related to serious violations of accreditation standards and state and federal law. Please review the materials provided for you today, and when appropriate, the MDE will address any questions you have related to the issues of noncompliance for the Wayne County School District.
Thank you very much. All right, at this time, we will hear from representatives from the district. Ready when you are, and same as with MDE, if you'd please just identify yourself for the commission. Ready when you are.
Good afternoon, I'm Bobby Jones. I'm the current Superintendent of Education, Wayne County School District. I'd like to say that I'm a product of Wayne County School District. My wife is a nurse. She has her master's in nursing. She's a product of Wayne County School District. I have a son that's a dentist. He's a product of Wayne County School District, and a son that's a nurse practitioner, and he is a product of Wayne County School District. And What I'd like to say is that I believe in Wayne County School District. I've worked there for 25 years, and it's my role this afternoon to show you that the district is not in a state of emergency, but instead it's doing good and is headed in the right direction. Dr. Malone and Dr. Gavin, Dr. Vanderford, I'd like to begin by saying that I respectfully disagree with the recommendation that Wayne County be placed under conservatorship. I'd like to go over a few of the positives, which is my role this afternoon to tell you about some of the things we've done during my term as superintendent. I know that our finances have been questioned, but please know that for the 4 years that we've been here, we've modified our investment policies and we have increased our earnings $700,000 a year annually. We've written grants and been awarded in excess of over $200,000. We realized a couple of years ago that there was $187,000 of debt service that was not being received by the district, and it was 7 years it hadn't been paid, and we started being able to get that again. We've maximized our 3 mil note rather than borrowing against the 16th section and to buy buses. The first year we began requesting a 4% increase in revenues as allowed by law. Hadn't been done before that. Now, in June, 1st of June, June 4th, I wasn't in the district at that time, but when I got back to the district about mid-June, I found out that 16th section principal and interest had not been paid. Everything we received showed that it was. We terminated the business manager and installed a new business manager. In collaboration with the state auditor's office, we obtained board approval for a TAN note in July 26th of 2019. Please know that other than this note, I've not borrowed any money during the years I was superintendent. I never borrowed against the 16th section. Also on the financial, we hired Central Access and were fortunate enough to get Donna Nestor to be able to help us as a financial consultant. She has been helping us with the bank statement reconciliations, numerous coding issues that we had, trying to help us with the audit preparations, and assisting the training of the new business manager. She's been assisting also our federal programs people, trying to get all that coding mess straightened out. Now, on the TAN note, when he talks about the lack of cash and not being able to pay and this, that, and the other, we've already paid $975,000 toward our note. We're on schedule to have that paid by June 30th. We've eliminated any type of non-essential expenditures that, we're not going out and trying to do anything elaborate. We're just trying to keep our head above water, and we're making it. We're doing very good. Now, I'm very proud of the academic achievements that's been made in the district since I've become superintendent. We initiated phonics back into the curriculum that had not been there before I got there. That resulted in third grade passing scores increased from 82.7% in 2016 to 92.7% in 2018. When the bar was raised this last year, we were able to get a 73.8% compared to 74.5% for the state average. We initiated a pre-K program. The kindergarten spring scale score now is 682 and the state average was 681. We implemented an ACT prep program. Took a lot of screaming and gnashing of teeth to get kids to do this, but we've seen some really good results from it. In 2015-16, we had a 16.3 composite on ACT score. We went up to next year to 16.6. 17-18, we went to a 17. In 18-19, we had a 17.5. We've never had over 2 or 3 to get over a 30 on our ACT scores. We had over 13 people to get a 30 or above on our ACT this past year. Very proud of that. Our graduation rate, of course, is not what we would like it to be. It's bounced all over the place. We've been an 82, a 79.2, 77.3, but this year it is on the way up again. It's estimated that we're going to have an 81.7. Our accountability rating. We slipped to a D in 16-17. We made a lot of adjustments. 17-18, we missed a C by 2 points. We were so close, we were 2 points. This past year, I was very, very proud of the thing. We consolidated some schools and stuff, made some K-8 schools where we had a K-4 and a 5-8. And we were 7 points from a B district. Never been a B district. We've never been that. I really was hoping, but we're going to get there. The district's going to get there. Our attendance record, we've done several things. We were really holding parents accountable. I've got a lady that makes phone calls, worries the fire. I get complaints all the time from parents that complain because she's calling me, asking me, how come my kid's not at school? She's coming to my house, asking me, how come kid's not at school? Well, she's doing her job. That's exactly what I tell the parents. We're running a 95% attendance rate in Wayne County School District. How many other districts have got a 95% attendance rate? We're doing good. You know, I regret that I'm not going to be here in the future, but Mr. Tommy Branch is going to be the next superintendent. And at this time, I'm going to turn this over to him because I can promise you the sky and the moon, the stars and everything, but I'm not going to be here to see this through. I hate that, but that's just the way it is. But Mr. Branch is going to be talking to you. He'll be the one that's going to promise you the sky and the moon and tell you what he can do because he's got a plan. We've got a plan. Branch.
Thank you, Mr. Jones. Committee, I appreciate you letting me come and speak to this afternoon on behalf of the Wayne County School District. My name is Tommy Branch, and I've been appointed the new superintendent of Wayne County. After sitting in here and everything from Dr. Malone, I'm still sitting here. We do have some issues down there. I want to introduce you to me and let you know that I can help pull this out. We do have some issues, and we're addressing them. I'm going to go through some in this PowerPoint about the state of emergency of our district, financially and safety. If you would humor me for just a few minutes, I would like to be able to tell you a few things about me and just so you'll know me. I don't know anyone in this room, so I definitely want to let you know so you'll know a little more about me and my character and what I intend to do coming to the Wayne County School District. I was appointed through a MSBA superintendent search. Lasted about 6 months, about 4 different interviews. I have lots of experience, over 20 years of experience. I've been a teacher, assistant principal. I've been a supervising principal at a high school, 5A high school, middle school principal, and a K-8 principal. I have been around, and I do have some experience with moving schools. Have not been in a school that has not moved. Would like to tell you a few things about me that drive me as a man, and then I'll get into the meat of the matter because I know that's why we're here. But I would like to tell you a couple little stories. Very short, won't take me but a second, because these things shaped me and made the character of what I am today that's going to be able to pull this out. My dad worked tirelessly all the time. Every Saturday, better believe he was working somewhere, I was with him. I'll tell you one time whenever I told him, I said, Dad, I'm tired. And he didn't say anything. I said, are you tired? He said, tired's a state of mind. He said, you get your mind right for whatever job you got to do. Move on down in my life to high school and college. When I got ready to go to work, working my way through college, I finished concrete, worked in construction. Outside all the time. I want you to understand it, whenever you're pouring concrete, if it starts to rain, you don't get to pour it. Had a man we worked for stone cold serious all the time. We were young. We liked to mess with him. Every time we'd show up, we'd be like, Kenny, looks like it's going to rain today. Might as well call this one off. He said, boys, you can't make a living looking up. Get your head down and get to work. I'll move on to my next job, my first one in education. Dr. David Shepard and the superintendent within Laurel at the time. I worked at Jones Middle School. He hired me as a teacher there. Me and some of the other teachers were coming out of the cafeteria from duty, laughing and playing. He was around the corner. We came around, and he said, you like you enjoying your new job? I said, yes, sir, I am. I said, I absolutely love it. It's the best one I've ever had. He said, well, just let me give you some advice. Don't ever let it steal your joy. Don't let anyone steal your joy. I didn't know what he meant then, but now that I've been in this a while, I know exactly who they and them are. They're after your joy all the time. Those things shaped me, shaped my life. I'm telling you, anywhere I've worked, there's not a job I've left I can't go back to. There's not a person I've worked for that would give a recommendation outside of these three things, and I'm very proud of that. I'm there every day, I work hard, and I have a good attitude. Those things in my life shaped me with that. You're going to need every one of those to help the Wayne County School District overcome the issues that we have. We have 40 minutes. It's only going to take me about 15 to get through this. We turn over. I will not be in this alone. I understand the charges leveled against our school board, but I do want to let you know our school board is experienced. They have to make decisions based on the information that they have received. One who cannot be here today for medical issues. He's a former Title I director and a high school principal. We have a former business manager. She was just elected in November, just came onto the board. She was a former business manager in the Wayne County School District. I have to say that her audits were always perfect. She will talk about a little bit that she was 4 cents off one time. It still bothers her. So that's the kind of manager you want and the kind of people you want in your corner. Another one, former Title I administrative assistant. Very, very knowledgeable in the title. State certified private forester. We have a lot of forest land in Wayne County. This man has been instrumental in working with that plan to pay the TAN note back. We are cutting timber. We're on schedule. We have several more cuts ahead. As Mr. Jones alluded to, we've already paid $975. We're about a third of the way back on that TAN. We are working towards that. All these people have a vested interest in the success of Wayne County School District. We understand the seriousness of this issue. We know where we're at. Audit findings. I've got evidence. We have some evidence boxes right on the other side of Ms. Kittrell right over here that will support my argument. There's 4 boxes over here, and we will provide them to MDE on several of the charges that were leveled against us that we can defend. We would like for them to see the evidence. We just received this evidence. Would have had more time. We received it last Tuesday. We've gotten this stuff together between Tuesday and today, and we would like to refute a lot of those charges. I'm not going to go through every single one of them. They're here if you'd like to talk. I will hit some of the big ones because I know, hey, it's as shocking to me as anything y'all just heard. It is. If you turn over, let me get started with graduation. No matter how you read that, whether you see it on the news or read it in the newspaper, however, it's horrible. 30 graduates going across the stage that did not meet requirements. Mr. Hathorn, our principal, has been in education 32 years. I've been a high school principal. I know that's a scary situation. Somebody might have got across the stage that did not meet requirements. What I want to tell you, a student did not cross that stage that did not meet requirements. What did happen is what MDE audited, their labels weren't there. Okay, I'm not arguing that fact. They weren't there. That was a clerical issue. They weren't there. We do have the proof. Mr. Hathorn is here and would really like to defend and tell you exactly what happened with that, but I can't deny that the proof wasn't there. Financial issues. Good grief. Probably took 20 minutes of that 40 to read that stuff off. Audits hadn't been done. Bank statements haven't been reconciled. 17 was just done a month or so ago. They're not looking, according to the auditors, that the 18 budget won't be ready until March, possibly April, probably April, because folks that are on time, I bet they're going to get pushed ahead of us because they are on time. But that's what we're looking at. 19, I guarantee you probably won't be ready, according to the auditors, until midsummer, okay, for us to have numbers. 20 could be on time the next March. 20 is going to be much better. It's going to show where those 16th section loans have been brought out of arrears. I'm not saying they're paid off, but the notes have been paid. The interest money can be used and is being used. Those coding issues, I have to tell you, a mess, a hot mess. That's all I can tell you. You had people listed over here that should be federal money, paying out of district money. It was terrible. There was a lot of mismanagement. There was some immediate action taken. The financial advisor has been hired, Ms. Donna Nestor. Donna Nestor, I've spent lots of time with her in the last month, a wealth of knowledge to this district and really helping reconcile bank statements and get things going for us. We do not lack resources in the county. We do have a large 16th section that is earning us interest to help us go. We also have plenty of timber. We're cutting the timber to pay this back. We are pulling out of this. I know if it was a plane, a lot of turbulence, cockpit's probably full of smoke right now, but we got the landing gear down. We're going to bring it down. We just need the opportunity. Transportation and facilities. I know this addresses the safety issues, extreme safety to our students. Semi-annual bus inspections have been moved to quarterly instantly. We were doing them every 6 months. They will be quarterly from this point forward. I can tell you that right now. But I will tell you, out of all that were inspected, not one bus was pulled or removed from service due to audit findings. So I know they were listed on here as having some problems. Not one was removed from service. 95 action items were identified by the district on facilities. As of December 10th, 93 of those have been corrected. Our maintenance guys have stood on their head. They have done exactly what we've asked them to, and they have worked tirelessly to try to bring these things up. We do have some issues with some windows at one school with egress, old windows. These guys have already figured out how they can fix them, and they're working on them. Not completed at this time. We have an egress door at the high school, also trying to be working on, see where we can get that fixed. That's just some issues that are currently going on. They will be corrected. Accreditation Policy 2.1, contracts and false reporting. Again, I will tell you, don't want his own payroll that should not be there. MSIS is correct. The data, a clerical data trying to support the MSIS records, not. Absolutely awful. Had a lot of record-keeping issues. Supplemental contracts, that could be an issue with none of those were asked for nor sent to MDE. We do have those. We did not report false information. The information in MSIS is correct by what was given to Ms. Brewer to enter. All right, all that, I would like to end on some positive. Our academic progress, an emergency in educational interest. The fact of the accountability model can't be disputed. You got good schools, you got good scores. You got bad schools, you got bad scores. I couldn't sit up here and tell you if we had an F school that, hey, we're really working hard, it's going to be good. But the fact of the accountability model, it doesn't lie. We are listed whether or not we have a good school or not by accountability model. The State Board of Education Standard 6 even lists, want all schools to C or better, all districts to C or better. We are almost there to meet that. Wayne County School District has no failing schools. We have one school that is 3 points from a C. One school out of all that is 3 points from a C. Ms. Turner has done an unbelievable job turning that around and getting it going. Every other school is a C, or we have one B. So we are 7 points from a B, according to the accountability model. We are not a failing school. Our schools are moving. They've moved every year. Just want to make that argument that our kids are being taught and excelling. At this time, basically, what advantage would we have to a conservator? what would a conservator be doing that we're not already trying to do? That's what I'm asking. I mean, the board is fully informed. I'm fully informed. You bring someone in new, trust is key to an effective team. You guys know that. As the challenges escalate, the need for the teamwork escalates. I'm already there. I know the issues there. I'm willing to take this and pull it out. And if you guys can give us a chance to do that, I can assure you, you will not see me or Wayne County School District sitting in front of you again. I don't expect you to take every single thing I've said at face value. We do have proof if you would like to look at it, but I also don't want you to take every single thing in the audit at face value as well. I know you have a tough decision. A lot of people are praying for you. A lot of people are praying for our county and for us to remain in control to try to pull out of this. I respect you. I appreciate you giving me a few minutes to speak on behalf of our county, and I thank you.
Thank you very much. I would also like that we could add to the minutes that Dr. Martin has joined us in person now. Glad you made it here safely, Dr. Martin. All right, does the commission need a 5-minute break? Good. All right, at this time, we'll entertain, the commission can ask questions of either party. Commission members, please identify yourself for the record. Please speak into the microphone, and whoever you call up to the table, if you would also please identify yourself for the record and for the people that are on the phone.
Okay. This is Sarah Foster. Mr. Branch, I'm just curious as to how long that previous business manager was employed by the district, you know, before she was let go.
3 years.
He was there when I got there. When
How long were you there,
This is
Mr. Jones?
This is on my first term, only term, 4
Okay,
years.
4 years.
When I got there, the superintendent's office was basically vacated by the superintendent and all the assistant superintendents. Mr. Marshall and I were new. The only person that was a veteran there was the business manager. He had been there, I guess, a couple of years or more in the previous administration. And we had our sole trust in him. I mean, we trusted him to tell us exactly what was what on the business part. I'm not a CPA, and I was going exactly on his recommendations. We didn't know that he was giving us erroneous information. Maybe I said more than I was supposed to.
I hear you guys say that of the 30 seniors that didn't have documentation for, that you have found documentation. Were those varying types of graduating seniors, or were they all standard and just the documentation went in place?
Could Mr. Hathorn explain that? Would you mind if the high school principal explains that?
Employee, yes.
Sure. I'm Robert Hathorn, the supervisor principal at Wayne County High School. In our graduation last year, we had
speak into the microphone, please. I'm sorry. We got people on the phone.
Our graduation last year, we had 196 kids go across the stage. And in that 196, I want to get all my information here so I tell you accurately. We had 163 kids go traditional diploma. That was 26 or more Carnegie units. We had 7 kids go on the career pathway. We had 9 kids take the district option. In the career and the district option, we got one more year of that where they can graduate with 21 or more credits on that. We also had 9 students that transferred to Wayne County High School would have been missing a state test score. They either came from a private school or from out of state. And if they had completed Algebra 1, English 2, Biology, or U.S. History at these other schools, and did not have to take a state test where they came from. When they brought the qualifying grade to us, then they were exempt from having to take the state test. There was a finding that we only provided 194 cumulative records to the auditors. We provided the auditors 196. We went back and recounted 4 different times with 4 different people. They were given 196. I don't know if they counted. We presented them the graduation program that had 196 names. There's a dispute of 194. So I don't know where the discrepancy is, but in our evidence box over there, the program is in there and is counted 1 through 196. In line with the graduation, one thing that really bothers me, we take a lot of pride in our district, and especially this high school, that graduation means a lot. And a lot of this stuff has gone out. And I've been in damage control with a lot of people for several days. And I want you to understand when things can be put out in the public without a chance for us to defend. I understand there were some stickers left off of inserts that's supposed to state the type of diploma that they have: traditional, district, career, or certificate. Now, and I'll tell you this, we created those stickers, and they're on there today. They were on there Friday before we left school. But I talked to several other schools and principals in South Mississippi, and they ain't never heard of that, okay? But our diplomas on the folders, the type of diploma from certificates on down, was noted on those folders. But like I said, there is a sticker on every one of our records as of Friday afternoon before we left school. So there's just some things that if they would have asked, and I know maybe we gave them everything. I had 8 auditors, and there's 2 of us. I had 8 auditors nipping at my heels one day, and they were the most professional as they can be. I have no issues with anything they did. They told us we were sent there immediately, and I understand that, and I respect them doing their job. But I got people in the auditors coming in our school making accusations, and they say, well, this is not my job with MDE, but I'm sent here to assist. I don't want nobody sent there making decisions about Wayne County High School that's coming there just to assist, and that's not my job with MDE. I want people there that's coming to put my name out on the record in Wayne County High School. I want them to be in there telling the public what's accurate and then what's inaccurate. And I promise you, a lot of that stuff's been corrected. My school, our schools are clean. They're not unsanitary. I don't know where that came from. You can eat off the floors. I've got 850 kids. I got 1,000 people moving through that campus every day with employees. And sure, there's a few issues. And we got a couple buildings that was built in the 50s, but I got news for you. We take a lot of pride in a lot of things at Wayne County. That's all over our district, wherever you go. But this graduation thing is so big. And I was asked, what would bother you by one of my counselors? And I said, somebody going across the stage is not supposed to go. And lo and behold, this came back. I like to faint it. But I'm going to say this. I had one counselor get promoted to an assistant principal, and I had one counselor get moved to our Career and Technical Center. I lost 2 outstanding counselors and brought 2 new counselors in. And they're getting plenty of training, but they're young and they're new, and it's going to take a little time for them to get up to speed. That is not an excuse. That's all on me. So any of those kind of stuff that was left off, I will shoulder every bit of the blame for this district. But I just want you to know that just because someone puts it in a paper don't necessarily mean it's accurate. And I got news for you. I worked 32 years to have a pretty good name. And most people will tell you I'm a pretty good guy, and I'll do a lot for a lot of people. And you can find a few people in the world that tell you that I'm an SOB, and that's probably true too, okay? But I'm very, very passionate about our schools and our kids being safe and learning something and having a good time. And at Wayne County High School, that's the 3 things that we work on every day. And all this safety and all this other violations, I don't know where some of it came from. I know some of it's with our SRO stuff. But I'm telling you, from going to school and having school every day and being where we're supposed to be and doing what we're supposed to do, our schools, there's 5 K-8s, a career technical and a high school. We're doing what we're supposed to do. And if I've left something out that y'all need to know about graduation, we had a deal that we're not offering intro to geography. We taught it last year. We're teaching it this year. There's some of this stuff I don't know where it came from. They had our master schedule.
Mr. Hawthorne, Do you feel he's answered your question at this point? Okay, thank you.
One more question on graduation
Sorry.
while you're here. On the 8 students that didn't pass the assessments, or they say that didn't pass the assessments, was there not a system in place to document which option those kids graduated with? So when the auditors came in, was there not documentation for the?
No, sir, we did not denote them as transfers. The part for the state test, Algebra 1, English 2, was left blank when their names came across. Okay, they were included in the 163 traditional graduates, diploma graduates. But no, like I said, we had some issues. I promise that, and we've owned up to that, and we've corrected it. I mean, they couldn't leave Friday until it was corrected. And I apologize for my rant. Very passionate about what we're doing. When people accuse us of some stuff but I apologize to anybody I may have offended.
Mr. Jones, help walk me through this. I understand you've been there 4 years.
Yes, sir.
and, how many, the term for your school board members, how long have they been there? And have they been through all the training MSBA provide and adopt those policies? Do they follow those procedures? Talk to me there a little bit.
Yes, sir. Matter of fact, we had 2 of the newly elected ones, probably my second year. I went to the new school board training with them. There was 3, well, actually, it's still 2 of our school board members that have been there from the previous administration were there when I got there. We have, the newest one has been there less than a week. It was a special election, and she is the one that was the former business manager many years ago and was really good at what she did. So I think I don't know if I answered all.
Okay. And they have been, do your district adopt MSBA policies?
Yes, sir, we do. Yes, sir, and as far as the trainings, there was, I think one of the school board members and myself got recognized for going to a higher amount of MSBA conferences last year. So we do attend those trainings, yes, sir. And yes, the online policies, we take so many on a regular basis and adopt those policies. What is it? Annually.
Ms. Westerfield, I have a question. Can you hear me?
I can, go right ahead.
This is Anthony Montgomery. I would like for one of them to address when was the last set of audited statements reflecting the budget and spending? When was the last audited statements were conducted? And can they address the TAN loan? What were those funds used for? And how did they identify that they needed the loan without audited statements?
Can I ask Dennis Singletary, our current financial manager, to answer those?
District employees.
I'm Dennis Singletary. I'm the new business manager for Wayne County School District. Could you repeat the question, please?
Yes, when was the last state of audited statements provided, the last year? We're saying 2016. I'd like to know when was the last set of audited statements and the TAN loan that you obtained, what were those funds used for, and how was that loan obtained without audited statements?
The TAN note funds were used to pay regular operating expenses and meet payroll expenses. We attained the TAN loan by working with the Jim Young Law Group and the Adams and Reese Law Group. We went to a local banker that knew our situation, and their board approved the loaning of the funds. As far as the audit goes, when I assumed the position, the 17 audit was not complete. I immediately got in contact with the auditors to see what additional information they were seeking. We provided it, good or bad, and they were able to complete the audit.
You said 17 is the last set of audited statements provided?
Yes, sir, 17. Now, we are currently working on 18. I have submitted the requested information. We have completed the 18 bank reconciliations, and we're waiting to hear back what other additional information they may be required, or may be requiring of us, but that audit is well in progress.
And do you know what year and month the TAN loan was obtained?
The TAN loan was attained in, I believe it was middle of July of 2019.
Anything else, Mr. Montgomery?
No, that's it. I would like to know if they plan on providing those 2017 audited statements to the board.
From what I understand, the auditor told me the other day that the clearinghouse that he has to submit the audit to, that the website was currently down. He's trying to submit it. I think he anticipated that happening any day now. That's based on my last conversation with him a couple days ago. We have received preliminary, or what he considered to be the final audit.
Okay. Yeah, I'm a little concerned that you were able to borrow money without 3 years of audited statements. That might be a violation of somebody's bank policy.
That I don't know.
Thank you.
Any other questions from commission members? Yes, any from either party.
Eddie Prather, MDE. Dr. Gavan, again, earlier you said that the district reached out to you or contacted you. Is that correct?
That is correct. The former business manager did.
So, and when they reached out, contacted you, did they ask for help, or what was the purpose of that conversation?
The former business manager reached out to me to inform me that there were he considered there to be some serious financial issues in the district, but his main purpose was to let me know that they were delinquent on their 16th payment loan, and that he felt like he was being personally held responsible for that.
And because of that, that's when we started the full audit?
I was restored at that point. I started reviewing their financial information that was from the board records, and noted that there were some serious issues that appeared to be on their financial statements in the district. So at that point, I asked my team to go into the district and to do a cursory review and provide some technical assistance to the new business manager at that point, which was in August of this year.
Was the new business manager receptive to your technical assistance and began to make progress?
Again, that was just in August of this year. My team met with him, and basically they were gathering information. He was relatively new in his position, but he provided the information that we requested, the information that they had. A lot of the information was not available.
Sarah, so it was the new business manager that contacted you, not the old one?
No, the old business manager contacted me in June of this year, but when we actually went to the district in August, there was a new business manager in place.
And would it be the business manager's responsibility to have those audits done and done in a timely manner?
Absolutely. Yes.
Okay. So it was the old business manager that failed to do that for 4 years.
Correct. It was his responsibility to make sure that the.
Yes, sir.
I have a question for Mr. Jones. As I hear Dr. Gavin saying the business manager contacted her, when did you find out that your business manager was not doing the reports and everything like you had asked?
Mr. Gill, I was just in conversation. I'm not sure, but I may have already terminated him on the 18th. It was a really close time. Of course, he had a hearing and it wasn't finalized until the following month, but I confronted him as soon as I found out about, because it was discovered 1st of June. I was out of the country. When I came back, that's when Mr. Singletary told me that the 16 section loan had not been paid, even though we were receiving an amortization schedule showing that everything had been paid every year, that we were paying down this note.
And so the falsified records of your business manager, you were getting information from him that appeared to be accurate, correct?
Yes, sir, that is correct. Everything we were receiving from him showing that everything was fine, we were doing good. I stayed on him about the audits, but everything I was receiving was saying that it was the auditors were dragging their feet. It was auditors dragging their feet, auditors dragging their feet. That's kept on. Well, about January, February, whatever, we were trying to do some refinancing, get out of the borrowing of the 16th section loan. We ran into some problems because we could not get a 2017 audit. At that time, Mr. Singletary was working with us, but he's working in a different capacity, and I asked him to contact the auditors himself, find out what was going on. So he and the business manager went to the auditors, and when he came back, that's when he told me, he said, this ain't good. And
Okay, so you're a business manager, and that's when you terminated the business manager after the other guy went to the auditors, and basically the auditors told him what was going on.
Yes, sir, that's correct.
So I have a question. This is Anthony Montgomery again. So you have quarterly board meetings, correct?
We have monthly board meetings.
Monthly board meetings, okay. So for 2 years, we have been overlooking the fact that we've not given any audited statements or provided any reconciliation of our finance, and that's been acceptable by your board for the past 2 years?
We did not know that the bank statements had not been reconciled for 2 years. We did not know from the information we were getting that well, we did know that the audit had not been done because the board kept asking him, the same as I kept asking him, every time we would try to do a new program or need to spend some money or whatever, we'd look at him, do we have the money? His response was, it's gonna be tight, but we're gonna be okay. And we would ask again, what about the 17 audit? Where are we? They're dragging their feet. We don't need to use them again. But they're dragging their feet. Well, when we started doing the hearing, the investigations, and I got his emails. I've got probably a 2-inch stack of emails where the auditors were begging him to send information, and he was not supplying them with the information. It was basically us that was not giving the information to the auditors to be able to do. Now, why that the auditors didn't contact me, I don't know. But he was the go-to guy. He was the only, like I say, he was the only person there that we supposedly thought knew what he was doing when we first came on board. And I guess my biggest failure is I had too much confidence in one person.
So one final question. Does the school board expect to file any embezzlement charges against that old business manager?
Not that I know of. I don't know that he took any money. I don't know that. I just, I don't know that.
Is the school district asking for any money to help with the financial obligations at all?
No, ma'am.
No, ma'am.
Not at all.
We're not asking for anything but some mercy today.
We're working this out. We just need some time, and this will be worked out.
With your appointment of the new superintendent, how much time do you think you would need to turn everything around that's listed on the correction list for us?
For the accreditation audit?
Yes.
Everything but the audits on The money, this 18, I can't speed that up. Y'all have any resources here? Yes, we could speed that up. That 18 audit still looks like it's out a while. The 19 audit looks, I mean, just take some time. I know this is tax season coming up, got all that stuff going on. I don't know how long it's going to take for them to get that done. We are pushing them, we're calling them, doing whatever we can every day. We're not their only client, we understand that. But as far as the rest of the accreditation audit and meeting those standards, we will meet every one of those deadlines that they've given us, and probably way before. We've already moved mountains within the few short time that we have to get it done, and we do have a lot of evidence over here that is listed by standard of corrections that have been made since last Tuesday. Again, I mentioned in my opening statement, if we'd have had a little more time rather than 3 or 4 days, we would have been able to bring this to MDE before we talk to you and say, hey, just throw a number out. 11 of the 22 have been cleared. I can't say that right now because it has not been approved, but I can tell you that we are way ahead of what they were saying.
What is coming in as the new appointed superintendent, what kind of system of checks and balances will you have so we'll prevent that with the
I'll tell you, a lot of it.
Business manager and false reports and late audits?
Yes, ma'am. A lot of the issues are some policy issues of when things are checked. We have a financial advisor. I'm not going to. Mr. Singletary is a good guy, really smart, working really hard. I'm not going to have 100% blind trust with him. We have agreed to have this financial advisor keep a check on him, keep a check on the fund balances, so we're not getting false information. I'm in the training with the MSBA. They will be here January 6th. They are working with our board, not only with goal setting, but working with policy. We have taken a contract here with them. We have not put it before the board to be approved, but to have them help us with our policies. They will help us bring everything up to code on that. But as far as the money, that will be something that will be checked, double checked every month, everything that we can do. Because our board, and like I said, one of the lady that was just elected, Ms. Reynolds, used to be the former business manager. She knows every trick, every in and out, and she has been true as they come with great audits. She's going to be a great resource right there. But we are going to have lots of oversight sitting on this money.
Let me say
It's just
this
too
also.
much.
You know, Mr. Singletary is a CPA, whereas the other guy was not. He was a math teacher that was promoted back in the day.
What are we supposed to find in the boxes?
The boxes are listed by standard, 1 through 32. Any corrections, any violations that we were hit with during this investigative audit, we have a justification in there in those boxes by standard, by school. Any corrections that have been made, anything we dispute that we think, hey, we had this, just like with the high school. I agree, that stuff was not in the folder when they looked at it. You know, just like a proof of residence. If it's not there, it's not there. But those things like that have been corrected. Those labels are there. You know, you can't prove it in the CUME folder as of the time they audited. As of last Friday, you can. So that's what we have in the evidence boxes. And you're more than welcome to look by standard. Do y'all have the audit report? Do y'all have a copy of everything? So anything on there, if you would like to stop and just pull one out and look at it and just kind of see how we labeled it by school and by standard.
We would probably need to look at that first before we passed it out to the commission, just to make sure.
There are no names as well, nothing, you know.
Yeah, we would need to review before we could pass it out to the commission members.
Okay. And that's why I said, because of the short time, we didn't have a chance to present it to the MDE and say, could you clear these before we go before the commission? Which just, like I said, we received this on Tuesday of last week, and we're here today.
Just to follow up again, Eddie Price, sorry for asking so many questions. I can understand why, Dr. Gavan, you went in. So, Dr. Malone, with the accreditation audit as far as accountability, was this what led you to go in to do that audit? Or was this a random audit? Well, I mean, looking at the test scores, I mean, we have a lot of school districts across the state with a lot worse test scores. So what prompted you to go in and do the accreditation, the accountability audit.
So Dr. Wright asked the agency to do a full investigative audit, and so that's what a full investigative audit consists of.
Any other questions from the commission members?
One more question. This is Mike Lindsay. For MDE, when you guys went in and did the audit on the 16th section loan, did you have the same findings that the business manager was changing or falsifying these documents to make it appear that they were paying the loans? Did you see
No.
those same documents?
We did not go in and do a full-blown audit. So the state auditor's office, if you read the state auditor's report, they actually confirmed that, and they're.
Okay.
But we could see that the loan had not been repaid. But as far as falsifying records, I can't speak to that.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions?
Yes, this is Brian Harvey, Superintendent of Oxford, Mississippi. Just one question, kind of a follow-up to Mr. Fraser's question about what prompted the audit. And as I understand it, it was the financial situation that prompted the audit. And if that was the case, it seems like I remember reading in the backup material that there was $7.8 million that was either, I don't know how to classify it, whether it was unaccounted for or mismanaged, or is $7.8 million missing?
No, sir.
Who is your question for, Mr. Harvey?
I guess it's for MDE. Is that what the findings were?
We're not saying that the funds are missing. We're saying as far as the accounting records, that's what the records show. The records show for district maintenance and several funds that they have a negative balance. But our investigation showed one thing that is incorrect is the records in the accounting system don't necessarily match the bank records. So there's a reconciliation problem. So when you have 2 years of unreconciled bank statements, then you're going to have, you don't know what your true balance is. That's our concern, is the system, the Marathon accounting system reflects a negative cash balance, and your bank statements show something totally different. So we're not sure how you really can reflect or know what your true balance is, and this is not an issue that just occurred. This has been going on for several years. So the bank reconciliations, go back to not just 16 or 17. That issue was also an issue in 2014.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, any other questions? Okay, at this time, we will get ready for closing arguments. I would say maybe a 5-minute recess.
Mr. Steele, I do have one other question.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Is it within MDE's scope to do a full-scale joint audit of the financial situation of the school district?
Yes, sir. A full investigative audit is all 32 process standards, and so standards 4 and 5 are the ones that deal with financial, so they're just included in a full investigative audit.
So that could be something that commission could recommend?
That was part of the audit. We've already done that.
Okay, so we've done that, and so I guess my question is, we've done an audit, but we haven't been able to audit 3 years of financial statements.
Now, MDE is not authorized to conduct financial audits per se. Every district is required to have an annual audit of the financials done by an external provider.
And that's where I was going. I'm trying to determine who would be the one that would do the scope of a full-scale financial audit, because for us to determine, A, if there's been a misappropriation of funds, or B, has some form of embezzlement taking place. And we're going to have some type of full-scale audit done, because from 2016 through now, we have no idea where the money was going, what budget was in place, and there's been no reconciliation of the statement. And so as a banker, I have a big issue with that big of a gap with financial statements, and they've obtained a loan with unaudited statements. So one of the things that I would like to see resolved at some point is, we're gonna have to identify how we can reconcile 4 years of no bank reconciliation statements.
The last audit from the external provider was, for the district, was 2017. And as the district stated, they're working on 18 and 19, but the last audited reports that has been filed with the Office of the State Auditor is 2017. So you're still behind 2 years as of this point.
Okay.
Okay, any other questions from the commission? Okay, all right, we'll take a 5-minute recess. Before we get going with closing arguments, I was just going to ask one more time if there are any other questions from the commission members.
I had one. Oh, you want me to ask it?
Go ahead.
This is John Mistelis. One of the previous questions was how did MDE get the impetus to do this site audit? And the answer back was basically we got orders from the superintendent of MDE. And so my question is, where did the superintendent of MDE get the information to do the site audit? And I don't know who to address that to, whatever. I just wanted to follow a trail. And I guess it might be needed to be addressed with the superintendent, but.
So Dr. Gavin has indicated when she went in to do the audit and did her review, it raised additional concerns about compliance with state and federal law and school board policies and the actions of the leadership in the district. So therefore, based on an accreditation policy, the state superintendent, the Commission on School Accreditation, and the State Board of Education has the authority to call for an on-site investigative audit of a school district at any time deemed necessary. So she exercised her right under that policy.
That's what I was just going to read to you, was that policy.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure. Because the answer was, it wasn't our idea, it came from somebody else. Right. I just want to make sure where that came from.
That was Dr. Vanderford for members on the phone. Yeah, any other questions, commission members? All right, at this time, we will have the legal representative from the district give closing argument. You will have 10 minutes.
Okay, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Jim Keith, and with me is my partner, John Hooks, and we represent the Wayne County School District in this matter. Let me go back to this audit, and I'm not really sure what Dr. Vanderford's explanation was about what prompted the audit, but to our knowledge, nothing was going on in the summertime that we knew that prompted the audit. The audit came about in August, and then we've been given 6 days to respond to that audit. So we have no clue what prompted that audit. Now, the fact that we had it, that's okay. That's no problem with that. But I still don't think that the real question has been answered as to what prompted Dr. Wright to ask for an audit, with all due respect to Dr. Wright and Dr. Vanderford. Now, let me just say to you, this is not an extreme emergency situation. It is not even an emergency situation. First of all, you have to go back to look at the definition of the statute. It's got to show a situation that jeopardizes the safety, the security, or the educational interest of the students. Furthermore, the statute says that for a declaration of a state of emergency, it must include a serious failure to meet minimum academic standards as evidenced by a continued pattern of poor student performance. MDE's audit does not do that. In fact, listening to the results today, you would never know that this was a district that was 7 points from B, if you had heard what you heard today. None of that was in there at all. And if the sky is falling, why are we performing at such a high level? 7 points from a B. Last year, you saw the increase in the performance year by year. So, and I'm not here to negate the need to have good practices in place in a district, but the bottom line is, are the students learning? That cannot be refuted with this district. The students are learning in spite of some of these failures. There are no safety emergencies. You heard about the bus situation. Yeah, they were dinged on some of those. Not a single bus was taken out of service. That doesn't happen because if there are safety issues, they're taken out of service. There are no security emergencies that are listed at all, and the educational interests of the students are not being jeopardized, because if they were being jeopardized, they would not be performing at the level that they have been performing over the last couple of years. The financial situation is stabilized, and it will be cleared in the near future. Now, let me make something clear to y'all. We are current on our 16th section payments. I don't know that that has been really clear to everybody in this meeting, but we are current on our 16 section payments. And that is a dramatic change from last summer when Bobby Jones first found out that we were behind in 16 section payments. And in spite of only having 6 calendar days to prepare for this hearing, which I will submit to you is patently unfair and a violation of the due process rights for this district, they have had to respond to a binder of about 3.5 inches worth of material. There's 4 boxes here of information that I believe you asked about what is this going to show you. One of the things they're going to show you in the audit, and you heard them say that we don't use tiered data, we don't gather tiered data, we don't have interventions and things like that in place. We're going to show you in this material that yes, we do. One of our principals was not even asked for that information by the auditors. Now, what we got in these 4 boxes are materials that's going to be evidence of things that we can disprove. Some of them we can definitely disprove. We got some where we have evidence of a correction, and you heard that out of those 95 facility fact items that were pointed out, 93 were cleared between Tuesday and Friday afternoon. That evidence is in there as well. And then for those where we acknowledge we got shortcomings, we got a plan of action in place. That's what we would have liked to have provided each of you. We couldn't get it in a form fast enough to be able to give it to you so you could use it in your deliberations today. So we were limited to giving you that handout that you've got where we tried to refute in our information. And we don't expect you to take it on face value. It is in there. We brought it to MDE for the MDE to go through. In fact, had we been given more time, I don't know that a lot of these would even be before you today because we would have already cleared those. But we don't know how many because we simply have not had time. Plus, as you well know, we've got to submit this to MDE and let MDE give approval to what we are submitting. So that's what's going to be in those boxes that you saw. Now, let me mention one thing about that TAN note issue. And I believe, Mr. Montgomery, I believe you're the one who brought that up. The bank certified to the district that it had everything that it needed to issue that TAN loan. So there's there's nothing wrong in the process that took place in order to get that TAN note, because they did have to have a TAN to make sure that they could continue to operate and continue functioning, and that's exactly what they did. Here's what makes no sense. It makes no sense to take over a district that has addressed its deficiencies, developed a corrective action plan, and is implementing that plan in an expeditious manner. If students are not learning and a district has all of these violations, absolutely, they're a target for takeover. If a district has these issues with regard to accountability and accreditation standards, and again, I am not saying that those are not important, but students are learning, that's not a district that is a candidate for takeover. That's a candidate, that district is a candidate for being given a period of time, put on a corrective action plan, and if they're not able to show you substantial compliance within 5 to 6 months, and I throw that figure out because I have confidence that if you ask this district to come back in 6 months and show them where they are, I think you're going to be very, very pleased with what you would see. But this district is not a candidate for a takeover. The district you've seen here today, and you saw the principal come up here, that was totally unrehearsed. Now, we'll admit to you that our 2 superintendents did work on a presentation for you. The principal comes up here and very passionately shows you his dedication to the kids of that school district. That's the kind of people y'all are dealing with in Wayne County. You're not dealing with people who are not aware that there's some issues and that they are willing to take those on and to correct them. And if we did nothing else here today, we brought forward to you the people in Wayne County School District who have the passion, the willingness to work hard, and the ability to clear this up, and they do not need you to take over this district. And you're correct, they're not asking for 1 cent from the state to try to help them out. They've got the resources to do it, they've got the people to do it, and I can assure you that they will do it if you simply will give them the time to get this corrected. They will definitely do it. That last slide up there, we are safe and our children are learning. Nothing could be more truthful than that one statement. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Keith.
Good afternoon, Commission members. Erin Meyer on behalf of the MDE. You're here today to make a determination under Mississippi Code Annotated 37-17-6-12B that an extreme emergency situation exists in the Wayne County School District that jeopardizes the safety, security, or educational interests of the children enrolled in the district, and that this emergency situation is related to serious violations of federal law, state law, and accreditation standards, and additionally inappropriate standards of governance and serious concerns regarding financial resources. Please consider the investigative audit report, the state auditor's report, and what you've heard today from the department and from the district. The answer should be clear. The district doesn't get more time. Policy and courts have said so. This is a state of an emergency. They don't get a chance to respond some more. The district gave you a binder. There are boxes that they believe they've corrected deficiencies or they have plans to do so. However, suggested corrective actions do not demonstrate effective leadership or successful implementation. They have been given chances. They have been placed on corrective action plans. And yet they keep winding up on probation year after year. Giving them another chance to make changes is not enough. The district is non-compliant and their financial needs are dire. They can't even tell you today where their money is, how much they have in their accounts. This isn't about the decision or the inactions of one business manager. The district argues that the incoming superintendent is going to make a difference, and he may, but it's not about one person. This is an issue of an entire leadership team, including the local school board tasked with oversight, who have failed repeatedly, violating state and federal law and accreditation standards. The district showed some of their experience, and for being experienced, the local school board has seemed to lack a lot of information. The students and the educators in this district should not suffer for the irresponsible actions of those in charge. As of November 2019, the state auditor sent a letter to the district, to the state board, to the state superintendent, and declared that a serious financial condition exists. MDE today has articulated some of the most critical and egregious findings, which include, but are not limited to, lesson plans being inadequate and tiered instruction not implemented, library resources and textbooks outdated, student records, including graduation records, lacking documentation and data. The district failed to provide children with disabilities a free, appropriate public education and failed to correct deficiencies on records since April of 2018. There's a litany of reporting issues. The superintendent and his administration have failed to provide effective educational leadership, effective implementation of policies, and have failed to develop board and community relations. And there's the financial condition of the district. Last year, the commission and the state board determined that an extreme emergency situation existed in Noxubee, and the governor declared a state of an emergency. Wayne County School District is in a far financially worse position. The board and the superintendent have failed to comply with financial accountability standards. They failed to timely submit financial audit reports for fiscal year 2014, 2015, 2016, 2017, and 2018. They've failed to properly code employees or fund employees, failed to reconcile bank statements. They could not verify their cash balance nor fund balance as of June 30th, 2019. In the Office of Special Education, due to the lack of budgetary controls and oversight, the district made financial errors in the sum of over $451,000. There were questioned costs in special education and federal programs. The district improperly accounted in child nutrition, and the 16th section principal and interest loan payments are in default or have incurred unlawful transfers. Despite plans, the district is financially unstable. Without money to operate, the district cannot function. Teachers and staff cannot be paid. School supplies cannot be purchased. If employees can't be paid, the district risks losing those educators tasked with guiding the Wayne County students. This means instruction cannot or might not take place. Students may leave the district. This is critical. This district does not want that domino effect. If this happens, the performance level of that district is at risk. The district cannot afford that. The situation is so severe that the State Board of Education and the state superintendent have been directed by the state auditor in accordance with state law to notify the district to cease expenditures until a financial advisor has been appointed by the state superintendent. This speaks volumes as to the gravity of the situation. The district cannot manage itself. A financial advisor is not enough. The district has already admitted needing money to make payroll. They use the TAN for that. The district needs financial assistance and can only access emergency funds if a state of an emergency is declared. But finances are not enough, all that the district needs help with. Students are being denied the opportunity and tools necessary to achieve the success the state board envisions. Ignored behavior is condoned behavior. The MDE, the commission, the State Board of Education, and the governor cannot ignore gross mismanagement of the Wayne County School District. One of the tests of leadership is the ability to recognize a problem before it becomes an emergency. But now that's what the district faces. The Wayne County School District is failing its students. Those charged with leading the district, meaning the superintendent, his administration, and the school board, who will remain in place, they're ruining the district. Today, the commission must determine that an extreme emergency situation exists. The district, the administration, the school board, they're violating state and federal law and accreditation standards. The district needs the state's help, and the actions cannot be ignored. The current 3,340 students should not be deprived of their opportunity to receive the education they deserve. They should be concerned. They should be concerned about losing quality teachers and support staff. The most basic question is not what is best, but who shall decide what is best. Wayne County School District and those currently in charge are not the who the district and the students need. Commission deciding what is best starts with you, and that is to determine that an extreme emergency situation exists in accordance with 37-17-6-12B.
Thank you. Okay, commission members, we have heard from MDE, and we have also heard from the district. Before us, we must determine whether an extreme emergency situation exists in the Wayne County School District.
I move that the commission go into closed session for discussion on entering into executive session.
Okay, we have a motion by Ms. Foster to go into closed session. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Brewer. Is there any discussion? Okay, so again, I'll ask for a vote for members present and then roll call for those that are on the phone. So members present, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, on the phone, Kelly Barfield.
Aye.
Roy Gill.
Aye.
Brian Harvey. I have lost Mr. Harvey.
They're under,
Oh, they
yeah,
may,
they're,
okay.
they're all in, undercover right now.
Okay. Anthony Montgomery.
Aye.
Brad Stevens.
Aye.
Okay. So we will go into, the motion carries, we will go into closed session. So we will ask that everybody please step out except for the commission members. Please take all Miss Elizabeth. Okay. At this time, we have come out of executive session. The floor is open for any motion that the commission would like to make.
This is John Mistelis. I move the commission vote whether the commission finds there is sufficient cause to believe an extreme emergency situation exists in the Wayne County School District.
Sarah Foster, second.
Okay, we have a motion by Mr. Mistelis and a second by Ms. Foster. Is there any discussion? Okay, commission members, I am actually going to do a roll call vote of the whole commission for this decision. Kelly Barfield,
Kelly Barfield, I vote nay.
Sean Brewer,
No.
Sarah Foster,
No.
Roy Gill.
No.
Has Mr. Harvey joined us again? Jefferson Hughes,
No.
Michael Lindsay,
No.
Valencia Martin,
No.
John Mistelis,
No.
Anthony Montgomery,
Nay.
Eddie Prather,
No.
Brad Stevens.
Nay.
Okay, so the commission does not find that there is a state of emergency in the Wayne County School District. All right, at this time, I'll entertain a motion for adjournment.
Eddie Prather, motion that we adjourn the meeting.
Mike Lindsay, second.
Motion by Mr. Prather, a second by Mr. Lindsay. Any discussion? Members present, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Members on the phone, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? We stand adjourned.